The people who made this movie understood that we as a nation right now are just too fractured to even have a common enemy that we can all agree on. So they left it up to our imagination. Who do you hate? Put him in there. You would think that for a nation like us that's been around a while and been through some shit, it wouldn't be this hard to agree on a mutual bad guy. You couldn't have the enemy be an Arab country. That would be Islamophobic. Can't be an Asian country because that would be racist. Next, you'll be blaming China for COVID.
Bill Maher is going after Hollywood for making movies we actually enjoy less fun by adding forced woke messages everywhere. These messages are not just distracting. They push ideas so hard it feels more like a lecture than a movie. Ma is frustrated and took a strong shot at Hollywood studios and executives, and it landed. So, hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, and stay tuned for more videos like this.
Finally, new rule, someone has to tell me why the same film critics who find every movie somehow lacking in woke credentials are all in on Top Gun Maverick, a 2-hour propaganda ad for defense contractors, militaristic jingoism, and every other movie that comes out, all of which are made by liberals for liberals with ardent liberal intent, fall short. If the movie is about poverty, the director didn't grow up poor enough to understand it. If it's about being gay, it's not gay enough. Asian, not Asian enough. Female, not enough agency. Race, don't even try. Sidelining, whitewashing, colorism, white saviorism. No amount of virtue signaling is ever virtuous enough. But somehow, 96% of film critics love Top Gun.
Ma starts by pointing out the obvious hypocrisy of Hollywood critics. No matter how woke a movie is, it's never enough. The message is delivered, the points are clear, but critics still complain. They are rarely happy. One exception is Top Gun Maverick. Here's the irony. Movies loaded with woke ideas are supposed to please the woke audience, but that group is very hard to satisfy. One small mistake or missing talking point and suddenly you're the bad guy. Ma's point is clear. Hollywood chases approval from critics who are never satisfied, and in doing so, it loses good storytelling, wide appeal, and the joy of movies.
I liked it too. It's fun. It's nostalgic. And Tom Cruise has been such an ageless, reliably entertaining movie star for so long, it sometimes makes me think, Jesus Christ, is there something to Scientology? But if you're a film critic and you've been making your life's mission to root out the insufficiently liberal in cinema, did you not notice that Top Gun is a lot about making warmongering sexy again? The weapons, the endless money shots of engines burning jet fuel, the aircraft carriers dancing in the sumptuous oily haze, all to the manly, macho, masculine sounds of Kenny Loggins?
Ma explains that Top Gun could actually be seen as anti-liberal if you look closely. It glorifies war, celebrates macho confidence, and shows victory as completely defeating the enemy. These aren't usually the values Hollywood critics support. By today's outrage standards, the movie should have been attacked. Yet people love it, both conservatives and liberals. Many liberals left the theater saying it was a great movie, ignoring any so-called problematic themes. Ma's main idea is simple. When a movie is fun, well-written, and emotionally engaging, politics take a back seat. The audience isn't lectured or shamed, they're just enjoying the story. Top Gun works because it respects the audience and focuses on storytelling, not political boxes. Ma says Hollywood refuses to learn this lesson. People don't hate movies with values, they hate movies that feel like sermons.
You know that if the U.S. military were a country, its fuel usage alone would make it the 47th largest emitter of greenhouse gases in the world. Our military is the world's single largest consumer of petroleum. It spews so much smog, you can barely see the highway to the danger zone. Think about that the next time you're watching a flyover, how we're destroying the world to protect it. Top Gun pretends our best fighter is still the F-18, but we've spent $1.5 trillion on the F-35, which has never worked and never will, and yet we still buy it. It's the Yugo of fighter jets.
Ma is being sarcastic, and that's the point. He's not seriously attacking Top Gun, but showing a double standard in movie criticism. Top Gun has its own social issues by today's standards, and it wasn't a perfect, politically correct film. Ma isn't trying to tear it down, he's calling for fairness. If woke movies are always scrutinized, then Top Gun should be judged the same way. But standards often shift depending on the movie. Ma's sarcasm points out that Hollywood outrage is selective. Good, popular movies get a pass, even if the rules aren't applied equally.
More bloated and corrupt than the Pentagon budget. We conflate, you may, we conflate defense with defense contractors. That's why their budget is $800 billion, more than the next 9 countries combined. In 2003, it was $378 billion. Somehow, we took 2 wars off the books, but now need to spend twice as much. And on fighting who? In Top Gun, the enemy is just called the enemy. We don't name them, we never see their faces, we don't hear them talk. Who are they? That's not important.
Ma goes further, saying Top Gun subtly promotes bigger military budgets and glorifies defense contractors. Under the excitement of jets and patriotic scenes, there's a hidden message. Spend more, buy more weapons, and support the military-industrial complex. Ma asks a fair question. Why spend so much when the country isn't in a full-scale war? At best, the world is in a long Cold War with small conflicts and standoffs. At worst, it's interventions with unclear goals and huge costs. Ma isn't saying national defense isn't important, but he questions the idea that more money automatically means more safety. He encourages the audience to separate entertainment from politics and ask tough questions about where taxpayer money goes and who benefits from constant military spending.
We don't know who we don't care. We're awesome. You had me at America? Fuck yeah. Whose ass we are kicking is on a need-to-know basis. God bless America and to whom it may concern.
Ma also points out an irony. Top Gun could be called woke by today's standards. The enemy in the movie is never clearly named. It's vague, faceless, and unknown. Ma suggests this is done to avoid offending anyone. Naming a real enemy could upset some viewers or cause controversy, so Hollywood plays it safe. This is exactly how the woke crowd works, always careful not to cross invisible lines, even if it makes the story less clear or realistic. Ma isn't saying Top Gun fails for this choice, but he's exposing hypocrisy. Critics praise the film while attacking others for being careful. Selective outrage shows itself again.
Sorry, enemy. It's not about you. It's about us. We have Tom Cruise and you don't. This is a dick measuring contest. It doesn't really matter who owns the other dick as long as ours is longer. It's just so ridiculous. The enemy. It's like having a movie called Godzilla versus none of your business. And that's on purpose. The people who made this movie understood that we as a nation right now are just too fractured to even have a common enemy that we can all agree on. So they left it up to our imagination. Who do you hate? Put him in there.
Ma then makes a serious observation. Who America considers its enemy often depends on who is in power. When Democrats lead, Russia is seen as a major threat. When Republicans lead, Russia can be treated as less of a villain and more as a potential ally. Ma isn't saying one side is right or wrong, but that the idea of an enemy changes. Foreign policy messages change with elections and politics. This is why movies like Top Gun avoid naming an enemy. It avoids political backlash. Ma shows how inconsistent these labels are. The enemy can shift depending on who's in charge. The idea of a fixed, agreed-upon enemy starts to look more like politics than reality.
For a nation like us that's been around a while and been through some shit together, it wouldn't be this hard to agree on a mutual bad guy. It used to be Russia, and still could be, but then Republicans started showing up in I'd rather be a Russian than a Democrat t-shirts and siding with Putin. And liberals, you couldn't have the enemy be an Arab country, that would be Islamophobic. Can't be an Asian country because that would be racist. Next you'll be blaming China for COVID.
Now you see the irony. Top Gun has elements that could be called woke, yet critics didn't attack it. Ma's point is clear. If a movie can have unclear enemies, subtle political messages, and still get praise, then film criticism is inconsistent. Can we really trust critics who change their standards depending on politics or the movie? Should they decide which movies we watch? Ma says no, their judgment is biased, follows trends, and sometimes serves ideology. Instead of letting critics control opinions, audiences should trust their own judgment. A movie's value isn't in selective outrage. It's in how much it entertains, engages, and connects with viewers.
Right, not even a pandemic could unite us. COVID couldn't do it. Russia couldn't do it. China couldn't do it. Not even Amber Heard could do it. You know, the old cliche has always been that if Martians attacked, it would be the one thing that brings the whole world together. Now, I don't think it would even bring Americans together. The Martians could the White House like in Independence Day, and half the country would be cheering in the streets. When they said, take us to your leader, they're over who that is. Giant robotic tripods could be vaporizing New Jersey, and Republicans would say, this is what happens in Biden's America. It never happened when Trump was in office. And Democrats would point out how the were disproportionately affecting low-income communities.
At times, it can be confusing to understand why audiences applaud, because Harris's speeches often did not feel clear or deeply meaningful to many listeners. On the other hand, Trump's 2024 victory was not only about strong speeches but also about results. He won 312 electoral votes compared to Harris's 226 and also secured the popular vote. His victory showed changes in voter behavior, including support from different groups and concern over issues like inflation and the cost of living. Many voters were unhappy with the current situation and wanted change. In the end, Harris struggled to clearly communicate and connect with voters, while Trump used public frustration to his advantage and won the election. His success reflected a larger shift in public opinion, and it is something that cannot easily be changed or explained away after the fact.